This is the United Arab Emirates, and positioned near the borders of Oman is the Ain International Raceway. The track sits just 90 minutes from Dubai and Abu Dhabi, making it a central hub for racing enthusiasts across the region. Surrounded by the majestic Jebel Hafit mountains and the city's lush greenery, Ain offers a unique blend of natural beauty and state-of-the-art sporting facilities, starting with this very track we're racing on for round 5 of the Champions of the Future Academy program. Year of opening 2007, event record set in time qualifying. Sada Matsui with a 54.172. That was done in time qualifying not moments ago here at the circuit in Abu Dhabi, well, in Ain, I should say. The track, though, an absolutely superb venue to go racing on. 1.4 kilometers in total race distance, multiple start-finish straights, 187-meter back straight here at the track. It winds between 7 to 10 meters. Elevation change only half a meter. It's a flat circuit here in the plains of the United Arab Emirates, but turns in total, there are many of them, 14 in total, 6 to the right, 8 to the left, and the 3 hairpins out on track, all providing their own unique overtaking opportunities. The main spaces, we should see those overtakes, though, down in towards turn number 1, of course, the fastest part of the track, through turn 6 as well, and through turn 13 also. After that long back straight, it is a challenging circuit. It doesn't seem the longest, but it's fast out there. Very fast for the drivers. I'll be reaching around 130 between that as well, down into the braking zone in towards turn number 1. Average speed of around 90 kilometers an hour, but it is a fast and flowing circuit for the drivers here ahead of their 5th round of the championship. Plenty of action is to come up, of course. We've got the 6 qualifying heats coming up in a few moments' time, the 2 per category. Juniors coming up first for their first 9-lap race. And, of course, in that one-time qualifying saw a very, very interesting session, but James Adagnostiadis, championship leader, taking the pole position at the end of that qualifying session. He'll be out on track a little bit later on, but right now these drivers priming themselves ready ahead of what is going to be a very dramatic day of racing. But as you see, OKN Junior qualifying Heat 1 will be coming up next for the drivers as, again, they prime themselves ready. The championship couldn't be any closer right now. James Adagnostiadis does lead that championship at the moment, but there has been 7 different final winners over the course of this season. We saw Ella Hakkinen, Kasper Reipold. Adagnostiadis is one of them as well. Toby Gale, Matej Vitva. We've seen Maxim Bobrozov and Connor Clancy as well. All of them have taken final wins this season in the junior category. It's been the most diverse championship group so far this season. But the drivers right now really just putting themselves in a focused state right now ahead of this race. The starting grid, of course, very, very packed with drivers, including this man here, brand new name to the series, but not a new name to the world of karting. Daniel Kelleher of Ireland putting it on the front row of the grid alongside James Adagnostiadis. Again, a very impressive time from Daniel Kelleher, just putting him behind, so meaning that it's going to be a brand new driver for Adagnostiadis to race in this series. We'll have to see what he can do here as we go ready for racing in a few moments' time. Temperature at the track at the moment is beginning to increase. It's up to 26 degrees, but the sun is out in force. And as you can see there, some of the hard-working marshals here at the Ain Raceway International Kart Circuit just dipping into their marshal's hut there to get out of that sunshine, but we could not go racing without them, of course. Engines fire up then. The first race of the day is heading out onto the track. Let's take you through that full starting lineup then here at the Ain International Raceway Kart Circuit. It is James Adagnostiadis and Daniel Kelleher on the front row of the grid. They will have Leonidas Peruzzi and Vanessa Schilkenater on row number 2. Her best qualifying performance of the season so far. Oscar Gallen and Kasper Reipold, they go from row 3. Now Egon Pedrotti and Matej Vitva on row 4. Nathan Kapin and Sujana Dandu from Singapore in her best qualifying performance starts this one on the 5th row of the grid. We'll have Toby Gale and William Marshall on row number 6. Mitash Jain and Veer Chopra go from row number 7. They'll have Victoria Farfus and Marcel Capella on row number 8. Ella Hakkinen and Connor Clancy will round out row number 9, with Nicola Stanley of the USA and Axel Nocom rounding out the top 20 on row 10. You'll have Didier Kleeth and Veer Jylland on row 11. They'll have Karine Kaur and Savrier Dudkovsky on row 12. Zachary Ardole and Dinia Islamov round out row at number 13 and the top 26. Anian Singh and Maxim Bobrajov, one of the final winners from Dubai, starts on the 14th row of the grid. Sanjana Dandu and Angelina Simmons go from row 15. Amelia Vishamirska rounds out the 31-cart grid, starting it on row 16 at the back of the field. There you can see the heat haze coming in off the circuit there. Very warm conditions right now, but we are in the midst and surrounded by the country of Oman here at the Ain Raceway International Kart Circuit. It is a very unique location we are in right now, meters away from the border of Oman, but still in the United Arab Emirates, as we prime ourselves ready for the racing here for round 5 of the Champions of the Future Academy program. Like you say, championship has been close. 7 different final winners over the course of this year's season. But with the penultimate round ahead of us here as we go on board with Kasper Reipold, the driver from Poland, currently running this one a little further down in the field, but still starting on that 3rd row of the grid. We'll have the close company of Oscar Gallin, his fellow countryman, alongside with Vanessa Shilkaneta and Leonidas Peruzzi starting just ahead, of course, as the front row. Anignostianis and Daniel Keller, for the first time this season, will go wheel to wheel in the Champions of the Future Academy program into the tram lines. Are we going racing? I believe we are. We are green and racing down in towards turn number 1. It is a brilliant start for the field. How do they go through? It's gone a little bit sideways there, though, for the driver on the front row. Daniel Kelleher has not exited turn 1 favourably. He has tumbled down the order, and that has put the likes of Leonidas Peruzzi up in the order. You can see there the number 11 is there in 2nd place, has got past the likes of Vanessa Shilkanate. She's still holding on to P4 right now, but it's Anignostianis who leads the way then ahead of the rest of the field as they make their way in through the tight and twisty section into the barrier. Going no further. Veer Chopra, unfortunately, out of this race. The driver of the 57 going no further. That is a huge shame. Veer Chopra, who started this one in that mid-pack, thankfully is okay, but out of the kart and out of his first qualifying heat. Back out of the final corner, back over the start-finish straight. Let's call him across the line. It's Anignostianis from Peruzzi. Then it's Reipold up into 3rd place. Oscar Gallin there in P4. Vanessa Shilkaneta has gone down to P5. Still in this race, though. Kappin's there from Peruzzi. Kelleher is down to 8th place after that start. Gale is there in 9th place. Mataz Vitfer running out the top 10 right now as down the inside. A big send down the inside for Daniel Kelleher as he tries to fight his way back through this field now. He's got the likes of Egon Perdotti, Gale and Gallin. They've all chopped and changed there. But right now still looking strong. Back here with the lead battle, though. Anignostianis still controlling the race there. Reipold and Peruzzi, they have switched places now. Kasper Reipold putting himself forward right now. Reipold, the final winner of Sunday's final in Cremona, certainly knows how to pedal in the world of karting. But again, for a lot of these drivers, their first experience here at the Ain Raceway International Kart Circuit. Over the start-finish line now, it's a long start-finish straight these drivers have got, the straight that isn't straight at the moment. We go live on board with the driver in 2nd place. He tries to close down the race leader right now. You can see them going through that very fast left-hander there, the anti-clockwise circuit here at the Ain Raceway. Right now, these drivers just doing what they need to do here. A sea of mechanics there just watching eagerly along on the balcony, just watching and trying to communicate with their drivers as much as possible to give them that vital information they need. Now, it looks like Nathan Kappin starting to close in here on the top 3. Because he is starting to close that gap right now. We'll keep a close eye on that one as Leonidas Peruzzi once again just piling on that pressure to Reipold. He's not allowing Kasper Reipold to break away here. He is sticking right with him as they exit now onto lap number 4 of 9. Over the crest there on the start-finish line. It's a very bumpy circuit here, reports from some of the drivers. There are smooth sections as well, but the general consensus is they love the track. Fast, flowing, demanding for the drivers. But like we say, very, very flat conditions that they've got here. Down the next straight here, all these straights all over 100 metres. 107 metres this straight as they go into turn 7, 8 and 9 now. One of the tighter sections here as they head into the 127 metre infield straight. They'll head round turn 11 and 12. So much speed you can carry through this double left-hander. Now down the 187 metre back straight in towards turn number 13. And are we going to see a change? We are. Down the inside, in through turn 13, and it's Casper Reipold who leads the way. Peruzzi's got through as well. He's there into second place, but now it was confirmed as Peruzzi hits that big inside bump there, heads to the inside and takes the lead through turn number 1, and that is a very tricky spot to do it. We did think we were going to see those overtakes in towards turn 1, but that was a lot of that inside curve there, nearly airborne as they exit out of turn number 1. There as they go through. Reipold's gone down to 5th place now because of that one. Daniel Keller has recovered back to 2nd place after he sets the fastest lap of the race. They're still battling away for position. I think Kappan's got his way back through as well. He's up to 3rd place. 6 places gained in this race. Is looking very strong right now, but the top 3 still line astern on lap number 5. Leonidas Peruzzi, who leads the way. Anagnostianis right there in the slipstream, down in towards turn 13. This is where he lost the lead. He cannot claim the lead back here as they head through 13 and 14. Back onto the start-finish straight once more. Big check over the shoulder. This was the big curve that Peruzzi had hit the lap before. This time around, avoiding it, as you can probably understand. That was probably very uncomfortable for him across that bit, but holds on to it. There's a look at Luna Flusha watching away. Big smiles on her face ahead of her race later on today. The current championship leader in the senior category. And as Peruzzi continues to hold on to position here as Ardian Singh sets the fastest lap of the race. 55.520. Looking strong, but a little further down in the order at the moment. Currently running in 19th place. Lap 6 of 9 right now. It is Peruzzi from Anagnostianis. Kappan's there in 3rd place. Has dropped off the back of these two, who have now started to work together just a little bit to try and open up that battle. Daniel Keller back to P4. You can see him there. He's tucking in behind him in the number 64, trying to close in to Nathan Kappan just further up ahead. But right now, just holding on to position. Gale is up into P5 as well. Toby Gale looking very, very strong this weekend. Didn't have the best qualifying, but has put himself up in the order now. 6 places gained as he tries to close in on these front runners. You can see him there just behind. Then it is Vanessa Shilkaneta who's there in 6th place. Reipold there in 7th place. Marshall in 8th. Jane is in 9th place as Pedrotti currently rounding out the top 10. Denis Islamov now currently fastest out on circuit. He's running around in 17th place, showing that the pace is there right now. And you can see that slipstream coming into effect here. Anagnostianis just tapping that rear bumper of Peruzzi as they head down the back straight now onto the start-finish line. And you can see here just everyone watching alongside, and there's the lead change down the inside through turn 1. Anagnostianis getting it done and moving up into the race lead here. It's exactly the move that Peruzzi had done a few laps ago to claim that race lead from Casper Reipold, and showing that it is very, very possible to get that move done in towards turn number 1. But will Peruzzi retaliate here? We're on lap 8 of 9. Race slowly coming to an end now. This is their first of 2 qualifying heats of today. Of course, their final coming up later on today. 2 finals over the course of this weekend. It is effectively a double-header weekend. That's how the format works. If you are new to the Champions of the Future Academy program, as back down the inside through turn 13. Peruzzi gets it back done. Here comes Keller down the inside of Kappan. He's got through. Toby Gale's got through as well. So Gale has now got himself up into 3rd place as we go on to the final lap of this race. Peruzzi goes defensive in towards turn 1. Anagnostianis gets the switchback on the exit, but hasn't got the pace down the infield straight. He heads back into 2nd place. The battle for 3rd is kicking off, though, now as well as Kappan versus Shilkanate. They've all closed in there. That's the battle actually a little further behind. That's P5. Battling away But you can see here, it's all kicking off as now Nicholas Stanley's the fastest driver on circuit. He's currently running down in 12th place right now, but still looking quick is the driver from America. Eyes on this one here, though. Peruzzi has managed to open up a little bit of a gap now between himself and Anagnostiadis. Down in towards turn 13, not close enough for the lunge this time around. Anagnostiadis will have to settle for it, the championship leader, but Leonidas Peruzzi will come away with his first heat win of the day. He crosses the line. Leonidas Peruzzi claims his first win of the weekend in the OKN junior category here at Ain. Anagnostiadis finishes in second place, exactly what he needed. He is controlling that championship lead right now. We'll have to see what he can do going into his second qualifying heat later on today. Toby Gale finishing in third place ahead of Daniel Kelleher. Nathan Kappen finishing in P5 ahead of Kasper Reipold. Vanessa Shilkanete finishing in 7th place ahead of William Marshall. Otes Vitfa from Egon Pedrotti rounding out the top 10. But Leonidas Peruzzi, a brilliant result there. Fantastic set of overtakes into turn 1 and turn 13. He'll make his way back into Parc Ferme. Of course, all these results provisional as they get themselves sorted out. Let's take a look at those full provisional qualifying heat results. The top 10 we have done. Mitanch Jain finishing in 11th place. Nicholas Stanley in 12th. Oscar Gallen finishing in 13th. Ahead of Connor Clancy and Ella Hakkinen rounding out the top 15. Victoria Farfus finishing in P16 ahead of Dilia Islamov. Dilia Kreef from Aryan Singh. Axel Nocom from Angelina Simmons. Then it's Master Capella from Maxim Bobajov. Sujana Dandu from Vishamirska. Delay. Sanjana Dandu. Karin Kaur. And then it is the likes of Dukovsky, Jurland, and the one retirement from that race, Veer Chopra, unfortunately not making it to the end of even lap 1, crashing out on lap 1. There, though, is your race winner, Leonidas Peruzzi. A brilliant result. The older brother of Achilles Peruzzi, who just put it on pole position for the under-10s category, second fastest overall in the mini-60 category. That'll be coming out next. A few words there between himself and current championship leader Anagnostiadis. It's a controlled start then for Leonidas Peruzzi. Let's see how he done it. The start of that race, a very close start there, but not the start for Daniel Kelleher. Unfortunately, the driver who started it on the front row kicks up that dust on the exit of turn number 1. There you can see him running out wide, and those big curbs just not playing into his hands there. Losing out on that front-running spot. Vanessa Shilkanate also as well, just dropping down the order as Kasper Reipold, gaining those early moves as well, pushing himself up in the order. There was, unfortunately, Veer Chopra out of the race. The driver going no further at the end of the first opening lap. This was on board with Kasper Reipold down the inside, getting up into second place through turn number 1. Again, a very, very fast part of the track, the fastest part of the circuit for these drivers as they make their way round again. The moves coming in thick and fast as well. Even in towards turn 13, this is how Reipold got the lead of the race. He wouldn't hold on to that lead, though, because it would change going down in towards turn number 1. Leonidas Peruzzi would gain that lead of the race down the inside as well, as it all kicked off once more into turn 13. Reipold losing out on multiple places there as Luna Flusha watched on that race. This again, change to the lead. Anagnostiadis down the inside at turn 1. He would take it back on lap number 8. However, at the end of that very same lap, Peruzzi would fight back through turn 13. Again, these two chopping and changing. It would bring everyone else back into play, and Daniel Kelleher back into third place. But Gale would get the exit. Toby Gale would move up into third, but it would be Leonidas Peruzzi taking his first win ahead of Anagnostiadis. Toby Gale from Daniel Kelleher, Nathan Kappen, and Kasper Reipold rounding out the top 6 out on circuit at the end of the first OKN Junior qualifying heat. Plenty of racing coming up, though. The Mini 60 category will be heading out next for their first qualifying heat. And again, for the Minis. Well, it's been a very interesting time qualifying, but it was a very close one in time qualifying for the Mini 60 category. Like we were saying, it was the man who was fastest in Dubai in the previous round as well, who put it right up at the sharp end. But once more, we will see the likes of Nikita Jalilov starting it on pole position. You can see him there on your screen. Another very fast performance from himself. Achilles Peruzzi as well on the front row of the grid. He's just seen his older brother do exactly what he needs to do and put himself on the top in the OKN Junior category. Could it be the same here in the Minis? There is Nikita Jalilov. A superb performance he had out in Dubai in his first day on Saturday. Poled it in time qualifying. He won qualifying Heat 1 and Heat 2 last time out on Saturday. Sunday, though, was another interesting story. Pushed strong as well. We caught up with him, though, at the end of time qualifying. Here's what he had to say. Well, at the end of time qualifying for the Mini 60s for the 5th round of the Champions of the Future Academy program. In the Mini 60, it is Nikita Jalilov once again on pole position. Nikita, congratulations, brilliant time. How do you feel putting it on pole position again at the end of the sessions here?
It was very easy for him because it was a total mess. So it was easy for him.
This is your second pole position. You did very well in Dubai. Can you do that again here in Ain?
Maybe I go P1 for the heats, pre-final, final.
Excellent. Well, congratulations. We'll see how you get on today. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, great to hear there from Nikita Jalilov, like you're saying, putting it on pole position in his second time out in the Champions of the Future Academy program, once again, starting it on the front row of the grid. He will have plenty of company, though, around him, because he will have the likes of Achilles Peruzzi starting alongside. He'll have Albert Tam as well, who's doing very well in the championship right now. Starting right behind him, he'll be P3, Niliko Perico as well. But we also caught up with the likes of the second place man as well, Achilles Peruzzi, who was fastest in the under-10s. We caught up with him after time qualifying. Well, at the end of time qualifying for the Mini 60 under-10s, we have our pole sitter in the class. Achilles Peruzzi, brilliant time for you there. How are you finding the track here at Ain? It's a hot day, but the track is looking fast.
Yeah, of course, it is really hot. We all have to stay hydrated. I had to try a lot. It's a hard grid to try to get first and second overall, first in the under-10. The kart felt good, and obviously you had to get a good track position. And in the end, it just came out like that.
Yeah. How do you think the races are going to go today? Of course, the track is fast. There's lots of slipstreaming opportunity. Is that going to be vital to make sure you stay with another pack of drivers? Because if you end up on your own, it's not going to go well, I don't think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You have to really push hard in the race. If something happens, then just work with it and make your way back to the top 5.
Yeah. Well, an excellent time for you there. Congratulations. We'll see what you can do in those qualifying heats.
Thank you.
Well, like you say there, both of them very fast in time qualifying, but let's see what they can do in these races. And, of course, speaking to Achilles Peruzzi there, you can understand that those slipstreams are vital here at the circuit. There's so many infill straights. There's so many straights here at the Ain Raceway that, yeah, for these Mini 60s, they're going to be at full power for a large variety of the track. Yellow flag waving then at the front. That's indicating we've got about 30 seconds until the green flag waves and the session starts. But again, a lot of pressure is going to be on these drivers. It is still close in the championship, but it is still at this moment Bruno Priam who leads that. He's got quite a commanding lead, actually, 501 points ahead of Albert Tam, second in the championships with 358. But there's only 2 points between himself and Niliko Perico, who did very well in Dubai. As the engines fire up, as the drivers make their way out onto the circuit, let's quickly take you through that full starting lineup ahead of their first race of the weekend. It is Nikita Jalilov and Achilles Peruzzi on row number 1. They'll have Albert Tam and Niliko Perico who did win the second final of Dubai, starting from row number 2. Mark-Martin Lumetz and Atika Mir round out row number 3. Aaron Mason and championship leader Bruno Priam go from row number 4. They'll have Mathis Brageau and Koda Singh on row number 5. Ari Kallenberg and Theodore Constantinou will round out row number 6 and the top 12. Oscar Singh and Ava Lawrence go from row number 7. They'll have Giovanni Desani Jr. and Daniela Verba on row number 8. Benjamin Karajkovic and Lorenzo Zucchetto go from row 9. They'll have Jan Gardzielik and Vincente Capella on row 10. David Hitov and Oskin Felagoni on row 11. They'll have Davide Di Filippo and Saif El Obaidli on row 12. Sebastian Kers and Daoud Sanfari go from row 13. They'll have Suleiman Mucho on row number 14, rounding out the 27-kart grid ahead of this 7-lap race. While drivers ending their out lap, they'll start their formation lap. Of course, rolling starts for all 3 categories here, the minis, juniors and seniors, as the heat of the day slowly starts to increase as the sun gets ever higher in the sky here. Like we're saying, an hour and a half out of the city of Dubai and Abu Dhabi, the city of Al-Ain, the 3rd largest town of the country of the United Arab Emirates. Like you say, a stone's throw from the Omani border here, the Al-Ain International Raceway. Let's see what happens then in Mini 60. Like you're saying, championship is close, but still championship leader Bruno Priam leading by quite a way in the fight, and his qualifying pace has certainly delivered over the course of this one. Like you're saying, a little further down in the order than he'd like to be, still starting it on the 4th row of the grid. The under-10s, though, packed out all the way throughout it. Peruzzi leading the under-10s. Perico Lumetz and Atika Mir as well. All very close up in that sharp end of the order for the under-10 category. However, Nikita Zhalilov does lead it in the Mini-60s as the drivers head to the line. Are we going racing first time? I don't think we are. It is a false start. They are heading round again once more. The pack just out of formation in the mid-pack there. Drivers very eager to get this one started, of course. Tyre temperature very vital for the drivers in this one. Of course, all of them running on the Vega compounds here. And like you say, that temperature slowly starting to increase as the day goes on. But a quick reminder of those championship fights results at the moment. Well, final winners over the course of this championship. It's been, well, pretty much Bruno Priam taking the wins in the finals, but he's not won all of them. Albert Tam winning the first one of the series. That was all the way back in Italy at the Cremona circuit where we saw him taking that win. The rest of the championship as well. He's not claimed a second final win. He actually got DQ'd from his final in Dubai as well. That's put him right into the clutches of Nicolo Perico, who took his first final win of the season in that Sunday final as well. In Dubai, 2 championship points separate second and third in the championship fight at this penultimate round. But like you say, there's a lot of championship points up for grabs. 151 in total, if you count the, or actually no, 152, because there's 2 finals, there's 2 fastest lap extra points for the drivers. So there's still plenty of points ahead of this field. Right, this looks a little bit nicer then for the drivers. It's Zhalilov and Peruzzi at the front of the field. Who's going to get the whole shot down towards turn number 1? Are we racing? Yes, we are. It's a good start then from Zhalilov. Immediately swipes across the circuit to try and hold on to that lead fight as they head down in towards turn 1. They're 3 wide on the apex going down in towards turn number 1, but it's still Zhalilov who leads the way. That is Albert Tam, who's got himself up into second place. There's dust getting kicked up in the background. They try to go 4 wide through turn 2. That didn't work out for them. Some drivers falling back in the field, but you can see here Zhalilov's lead. He has gained already a huge race lead already in this opening stage. However, that might not be the best thing here in the Mini 60 category, because the slipstreams are a huge, huge factor. There, going very slowly, is the 858, not going very quick at all out on track. That is a huge shame for Saif Al-Abaidli, the driver from Qatar, not going very strong. I think he had one of those drivers who went off at turn number 2. But right now, he's just holding on to this race, see if he can close back in. Right, drivers head across the line. It is Nikita Jalilov who leads the way as dust gets kicked up in the background. Albert Tam there in second place ahead of Peruzzi. Lumets from Perico. Bruno is there as well in P6. Tita Kamir from Ava Lawrence. Daniela Verba currently in 9th place. Constantinu holding on to the top 10. Daniela Verba probably the biggest mover in this race. 7 places gained, as well as Sebastian Kers, who has gained 8 places, currently running in 17th. Now, this is what we were talking about. Jalilov's lead has come down. He has lost out on that fight because, of course, the slipstream, the power from Albert Tam and Achilles Peruzzi, they have managed to close back in to Jalilov, and that is exactly what we're talking about here. You do not want to break away. You do not want to be on your own. There is no chance of holding on to a lead, and already you can see them there right on that rear bumper down in towards turn 13 as they all concertina up now back over the start-finish line. This is the battle for first place. You can see absolutely astonishing performance from these drivers here. The top 6 separated by nothing here right now. Bruno Priam at the back of this group is in a position where he knows where he likes to be, as Ava Lawrence goes a little bit wide there in the background. The driver of the Triple Eight just holding on to that position as well. Atika Mir also going a little bit wide out of turn number 1, but brings it back onto the track. Here comes Bruno Priam immediately fighting here, trying to get past the likes of Nicolo Perico and Marc-Martin Lomets as they battle themselves away. Tam still holding on to second place, but he's not managed to find his way through just yet. The one thing they don't want to do here is battle for second place. Yes, they've got the time to close in, they've got that slipstream effect, but they need to keep that pressure on Jalilov so he doesn't fully try to break away, and that's exactly what they're doing here. Tam to the inside of turn 13, but it goes through as well. So new race leader then in the form of Switzerland's Albert Tam pushes his way to the front. His mechanic watches on as he sees ahead of this one. Here comes Jalilov, though, back down the inside at turn number 1. He's going to take that position back. Here comes Perico, Nicolo Perico, the final winner from the likes of Dubai and the previous round, looking very, very strong now. But he pushes his way up here. He's up into P4 right now. And Bruno Priam up to 3rd place. That's exactly what he needs. Perico up to 2nd here. So Tam holding on to the lead. It's all chopped and changed. Battle for 2nd place is on, but Albert Tam controlling the race. He will not have control much longer. We've not seen a driver break away in the Mini 60 category. Qualifying was very close and compact. It was a very busy session in the Mini 60 category. And everyone watching on is eager here as they're waiting to see what can happen here. Back over the start-finish straight. Perico has closed in. Tam's lead has diminished as, of course, the slipstream effect kicks in to the start-finish line and towards turn number 1. Any lunges here at turn 1? Not this time around. Staying line astern for the front runners. See a huge group of drivers here now. The top 8 separated by nothing. Further down in the field, what's happened? We've had Oscar Singh gain up into 12th place. Lorenzo Zucchetto gaining 2 places as well, getting past Velagoni and Constantinu. Jan Garzelek also with the overtakes here as Perico has closed in, is going to go for the lead. Nicolo Perico in a corner that we've not seen many overtakes at in the early stages. He's gone for that move then in towards turn number 7 and 8. He's gained that lead here. And now can Perico hold on to that lead at the exit of turn 13? Slipstream will come in to effect here. Top 4, nothing between them. Now top 6, nothing between them. You can see how quickly they all close in. Here was that lead change, and actually a big moment in the background there as well as that lead change happened. That is a huge moment on that exit curve of turn number 1. But here we go, back with the lead runners here. Perico's lost out on the lead. Albert Tam back up into P1. Bruno is there as well. Bruno Priam up into 2nd place. Is now right where he wants to be for the championship leader. Can Bruno Priam claim that win here? He's got work to do, though. We're on lap 6 of 7. This is the penultimate lap of the race. The last lap board will be out this time for the drivers when they next cross the start-finish line. But who could it be? Tam, Priam, then it is Perico, Jalilov, Loetz, Peruzzi. Daniela Verba is right there as well. Atika Mir, there in 8th place. Krajkovic is there in 9th. Kallenberg is there in 10th place. Kicking off here, though, now. Still no change, though. Tam holding on to it as they head on to then the final lap of this race. And is there going to be a lead change here? Yes, there is. Down the inside, Bruno Priam claims the lead, but that's an early part of the track, turn 1. There is other overtaking opportunities around the track here. Are we going to see them more in this session through turn number 5, 6, and towards turn 7? No changes here this time around. Big check over the shoulder for Albert Tam. He's trying to assess whether or not he's under pressure from Nicolo Perico behind. He's got a little bit of a gap. He's going to go for the move, though, in towards the top section here through turn 9. Again, another superb overtake, but now back at turn 11. Here comes Bruno Priam back down the inside. He's going to immediately fight it back, but now he's going to be on the back foot here. He's not going to have the exit out of turn 12 in towards turn 13. The Constantino effect kicks in. They're 3 wide at turn 13. They come back into view of the grandstand viewing area, but it will be Bruno Priam across the line. He will just take the checkered flag across the line. Albert Tam, absolutely nothing between them. 0.005 of a second, 5 thousandths of a second across the line between the top two. That slipstream certainly playing into effect, but Bruno Priam claims that first win of the weekend. The championship leader looking to extend that championship lead even more as this weekend will progress. Bruno Priam then from Albert Tam, first and second. Nicolo Perico from Achilles Peruzzi. Nikita Zanilov then, the pole sitter, dropping to P5 ahead of Daniela Verba, who actually gained 10 places in that race to finish in P6. That's an incredible drive there for Daniela Verba. Martin Lormetz finishing in 7th place ahead of Atika Mir. Benjamin Krajkovic finishing in 9th place ahead of Aaron Mason. And the rest of the order there on your screen. Up to the 15th place, Ava Lawrence from Kallenberg. Then it's Oscar Singh from Matis Brageau. Koda Singh from Lorenzo Zucchetto then, who rounds out the top 16 from Vincente Capella. Theodore Constantino finishing in 18th place ahead of Davide Di Filippo. Sebastian Kurz finishing in 20th place, rounding out those top 20. Giovanni Desani Jr. from Jan Gazielik. David Shidov finishing in 23rd place from Augustine Falagoni. Suleiman Mucho from Saif El Abadli. And Dayoud Sanfari rounding out the 27 runners in that first Mini 60 qualifying heat. Well, one more race to go before the midway point break. Seniors coming up in a few moments' time, but we'll revert back to the minis, of course, later on today. Their next qualifying heat, local time, due to start at 1:20 local time. But there, Bruno Priam from Belgium, not the pole sitter in time qualifying, showing though that his race pace is very, very quick. And the driver from Belgium certainly delivering then in the Mini 60 category. Let's have a look at the highlights from that one, as the drivers had a couple of takes to get the start right. Here though, 3 wide in towards turn number 1 at the start, but Jalilov holding on to the lead in the opening stages of that race. As you can see, everyone just watching on in towards turn 1. It's always very nerve-wracking seeing such a close field of drivers going in towards turn 1, and for some drivers it didn't end up going their way. Saif El Abadli, unfortunately the driver from Qatar, dropping well down the order. First time over the line then, and it was still Jalilov who leaded the way on the opening stage of the race, but it all changed up just that little bit more, as like you say, Bruno Priam had closed in, Albert Tam, Perico had all closed in as well. Peruzzi was holding on to that one as some drama did kick off further back in the field. You saw the drivers going a little bit wide there further down in the pack, and for some of them just holding on to it. That was David Chitov there, just not having the pace out of the corner. This was the first lead change on lap number 3. Tam down the inside at turn 13. That would allow Nicolo Perico to close in. He would close right in there into 4th place. Cadis Peruzzi would hold on to 2nd, but not for much longer, as Jalilov would fight back. Then Perico got involved. Then the likes of Bruno Priam got involved as well, who would be up to 4th place on the 4th lap of the race. He would get up into 3rd. He would just slowly, lap by lap, gain those positions, as again you see drivers just struggling in the background there. I think that might have been Martin Lormetz going a little bit wide there out of turn 1. Perico gaining the lead though in the midway point of the race. Again, wouldn't hold on to it for too long. The slipstream is too powerful here for a single driver to try and break away. You saw the likes of Nicolo Perico closing in. There was the lead change, the first lead change on the final lap of the race from Bruno Priam. Perico and Albert Tam would fight back. Tam back down the inside through turn number 9. Then at turn 11, this was another lead change here. Such a fast corner, so easy to run wide, but because of that change, they lost out a huge amount of momentum. It was a photo finish to the line. 0.005 of a second, 5,000ths of a second separated the top 2 across the line. Incredibly close. Mini 60 is going to be an incredibly competitive group over the course of this weekend. But like you said, we'll see them out later on today for their second qualifying heat. The first qualifying heat then for OKN Senior. That is coming up next. 12-lap race, 16.5 kilometer race distance. And again, in the senior category, we have seen, well, some very dramatic results in time qualifying for the first time this season, and in her second appearance in the senior category. We saw her out first time out in Dubai, stepping up into the seniors. From Japan, Sara Matsui putting it on pole position for the first time this season in the Champions of the Future Academy program. We did catch up with her. Here is what she had to say. Well, at the end of time qualifying for the senior category here for round 5 of the Champions of the Future Academy program, we have a brand new driver on pole position. Sara Matsui of Japan, putting it fastest here in Ain. Sara, congratulations. How are you feeling after your first pole position here in the UAE?
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it was perfect qualify in my life, and I was so happy.
What are you hoping for today? Do you reckon that pace in qualifying you can do in the races as well?
Hopefully. Yeah.
Well, you seem very, very happy. This must be a great feeling for you. Of course, you're racing for the Academy program, the Discover Your Drive initiative. How has it been? Has there been doing a lot of work behind the scenes to get you ready for this weekend?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, congratulations. Well done. We'll see what you do in those qualifying heats. Well done.
Thank you so much.
Well, great to hear there from Sara Matsui. Again, you can imagine probably very excited going into this race. The first time she has put it on pole position, but she has got some work ahead of her here because there's a field of very competitive drivers. Of course, Sara Matsui, part of the Williams Young Driver program. She has certainly delivered a lot throughout this season, but that's the first time she's put it on pole position ahead of a qualifying heats phase. So you can imagine the nerves are going to be there. Be curious to see how she deals with that, though, as the racing goes on throughout this one. There you can see joining on the front row of the grid, Markus Šilkunas, the driver of the 242 from Lithuania, certainly as well delivering a very good qualifying session there as they head the way out to the circuit in a few moments' time. George Nassar as well, and Maximilian Rafalik locking out the second row of the grid. There you can see they're priming themselves ready ahead of this one. They've got very close to it as well, another couple of the drivers behind as well. They've got Casper Bonder as well as Sky Parker from the UK as well. Her second appearance in the Champions of the Future Academy program, and I believe her second full proper weekend of senior racing as well. So very curious to see how she does, but a very quick time set in time qualifying. She'll start this one on the third row of the grid, currently in P6. Championship, though, at the moment, that's the one that's being led by Luna Flusha. We saw her earlier watching on in this race. Qualifying didn't fully go her way. She started a little further down in the order, but as the engines fire up, let's see what happens as someone's not fired up there. Who is that just off the camera shot? Is that Marcus Shilkunis? We'll find out in a few moments' time. Let's take you through that full starting grid. Sado Matsui then of Japan for the first time this season starts it on pole position. We'll have Marcus Shilkunis hopefully alongside if it was the driver who didn't get fired up there at the start. George Nassar and Maximilian Rafalek, they go from row at number 2. They'll have Casper Bonder and Sky Parker on row 3. Charles Lambert and Ella Latimer round out row number 4, her best qualifying performance, I believe, of the season. They'll have Sofia Sanfari also with her best qualifying performance, and Gianna Pascal on row number 5. Luna Flusha and Mohamed Menemni, the final winner at Dubai, starts this one on row number 6. Hugo Heron, also the other final winner in Dubai, starting on row number 7. We'll have Charlotte Page of Australia starting alongside. Isaac Say, another driver who's stepping up into the senior category for the first time this weekend, starts it on row 8. We'll have Jean Carras for company alongside. Lisa Pettikozlova and Gazi Motlaka round out row number 9. Cole Hewitson and Philippe Carras round up the top 20. They go from row 10. They'll have Adam Sador and Prix Trevino on row 11. Alessandro Biggie goes from row 13. We'll have Jabbar Al-Sabah, Anastasia Genesis, Louis Hartmann and Sebastian Korpeng. And confirmation, it was not Marcus Shilkunis. It was Maximilian Rafalek who didn't get started up at the start of that race. So his engine not getting away. The driver who should be starting on that second row of the grid in P4 now is right to the back of this field. Well, he's not got time to get back to his original starting spot. He'll have to absolutely floor it through the field here. But the red line actually starts going in towards turn 13, and they're going through turn 12 now, so they're heading towards that red line. From there, no overtaking is permitted. So, of course, Maximilian Rafalek is allowed to overtake up until a point. But I don't think he's going to get into his original starting place, and that is a big shame. There he goes through, and does he reach his starting spot? The red line is there, so he can't overtake anymore. I think he just made it there, so absolutely fantastic for him. He will start then from P4 on this grid, but there you can see we're live on board there with the rest of the field. Here we go then into the tram lines. A little bit shaky in the mid-pack there. Front looks good. Are we going racing for the first time? Yes, we are. Green flag straight away. Sado Matsui holds on to the lead then down in towards turn number 1 as the field slots in to turn number 1. Multiple drivers out wide. Sky Parker is one of them. One driver so wide, he's into the barriers at turn number 1 and is out of this race on the opening lap at turn number 1. And who is it? Is that Mohamed Menemni? No, I don't think it is Mohamed Menemni. Who is that that's gone off the track? Sky Parker was one, Ella Latimer was the other. It is Mohamed Menemni. It is the final winner from Dubai, is out at turn number 1 at the start of this one. There as well as another driver as well out. Louis Hartmann is another driver who has been caught out at the start of that race. 2 drivers off at turn number 1. Not what they want to see at all. Change at the front, though. Sado Matsui's lost out on the lead, but she's still hot and strong at the moment. I think that's George Nassar up into P1 right now as they head across the start-finish line. Let's call them across the line. It is George Nassar who leads the way ahead of Sado Matsui. Maximilian Rafalek from Casper Bonder. Marcus Shilkunis has not had the start he's wanted. He's gone down to P5. Luna Flusha, championship leader, has had a brilliant start. He's up 5 places up into P6 now ahead of Hugo Heron. Charles Lambert is there in 8th place from Cole Hewitson. Sofia Sanfari currently rounding out the top 10 right now. Only lost out on 1 spot here, but still George Nassar up 2 places now as down the inside Maximilian Rafalek, after his engine not firing up, is now up into 2nd place. Sado Matsui down into 3rd. There you can see the stricken cart of Mohamed Menemni. Now, he was a little further round the lap there. We lost him out at turn number 2. That's why he appeared on my screen as not clocking up at the exit of turn number 1. So, again, out of this race as well as Louis Hartmann. On board with Charles Lambert. We'll go on for a full lap here of the Ain Raceway International Kart Circuit. You can see here flat out up to 130 kilometers an hour in towards turn number 1. It's a very fast opening of turn 1, but you've got to watch out on that exit. You don't want to hit that exit curve in towards turn 2. You come into that tight infield section now, turns 3, 4, 5 and 6. They come up quickly as you exit through. You can try and get an overtake here down the inside of turn 6. You can see there Charles Lambert certainly going for it down the next straight then as they head down the 107-metre back straight in towards turn 7, 8 and 9. The second complex of corners here as Sarah Matsuri gets a little bit wide on the exit, and down the inside goes Charles Lambert down the 127-metre back straight in towards turn 11 and 12. This is the double left-hander as you head down the 187-metre back straight in towards turn 13. You see time in, time out the overtakes here, a very fast sweeping entry. The track tightens here to 7 metres. Then you flick it round turn 14, back on the start-finish straight. 1.38 kilometre distance, a brilliant circuit here in the desert of the United Arab Emirates, but the Al Ain circuit certainly delivering some very close racing. George Nassar then doesn't hold on to the lead anymore. Maximilian Rafalik has stepped up. He has put himself right up at that sharp end as he takes the lead a little further up the race. Well, in fact, no, George Nassar holds on to that one. That was actually further down the order. That was Hugo Heron gaining some moves and Casper Bonda stepping up. Sada Matsui just ahead of that fight still. There is that first place lead. George Nassar still in control of this race. Rafalik is right on that rear bumper though, tucking into the slipstream. Could he go for the lead change now? He's looking for it. Can he get it? Yes, he does. He's late on the brakes. He loses it on the exit though, holds on to it through 14. Sada Matsui is back into the fight, and you can see there from George Nassar is saying, go, go, go. Let's see if we can close in. He's going to go for it though through turn number 1. He sold the dummy through turn 1. He said, no, you just go, don't defend. And he's immediately fought back now. That's brought Sada Matsui right back into this lead fight as she's going to try and set it down the inside of Rafalik. Not close enough this time, just stays in third place. Hugo Heron is there as well in P4, is trying to close in on this fight as Ella Latama sets the fastest lap of the race, 55.353. It's looking very strong out there at the moment. She was very quick in time qualifying, so she knows the pace is there. But unfortunately, this race has just not gone her way because she's currently down in 23rd place. So you can see there, chopping and changing through the field. Here, though, Sada Matsui chasing Rafalik for second place. See the pole sitter from qualifying just dropping down a couple of positions in this race. You see her race pace is still very, very strong right now. She's keeping up with the top 2. But like you're saying, that slipstream effect just kicking in. And these drivers just trying to think where's the best place to position the kart here to defend. There's so many twists and turns around the Al Ain circuits where so many drivers can just get caught out. They may think they're defending into this corner, but then they haven't got the optimal line through the next. And it's just one of those tricky tracks to try and defend on. Down the back straight again in towards 11 and 12. Double left-hander here, very, very fast here. You want to make it one big movement as here's a replay of that lead change. You can see here what we mean about those. Out-braking himself in towards 13, but was able to just defend it going into the apex, but then in towards turn 1. That direction change there in towards turn 1, very, very violent and quick movement there on the steering wheel. And with the track undulation there as well, there's a little bit of a crest on the apex going in towards turn number 1. It just unsettles the kart just that little bit now as Sada Matsui has not been able to close in once again on the top 2. Hugo Heron, after setting the fastest lap of the race on that last lap, has now closed in. So the battle for third place is on right now as the top 2 have broken away. And I think has Sada Matsui already lost out on that position? She has. A bit of a twitch there on the exits of the infield section. Shilkunis as well also possibly being able to close in now. You can see that fight going on as Shilkunis has really backed the pack up there, actually. Casper Bonda trying to go for the move down the inside, was not able to. Cole Hewitson as well has closed in. But Flusha as well also in that fight. She's currently in 8th place as Shilkunis, like you say, tried to back the pack up. He actually dropped down to 7th place because of that. Here, though, the lead fight on lap number 8 of 12. And Nassar and Rafalik still line astern here. No change between these two on lap number 8. But again, drivers staying focused right now. George Nassar from the country of the United Arab Emirates. Certainly delivering so far in the 2 appearances we've seen from him. So we're out in Dubai, now here at Elaine. Delivering right now, you can see the difference between the two of them. Gain of 2 places for George Nassar and for Maximilian Rafalik. Both up from that second row of the grid. First and second, nothing between the two of them. That slipstream just keeping them into close formation. Over the start-finish line again. Very fast here over the kink. And you just see again, no change between Rafalik and Nassar, but that slipstream just means that they just can't break away from each other. Heron and Matsui still 3rd and 4th as they try to keep close in, as Flusha now sets the fastest lap of the race. Spaniard now up to 7th place. She's making her way back through the field here now. Let's have a look at some other overtakes further back and some biggest movers out there. Cole Hewitson is the biggest mover I can see on screen. From South Africa, up 13 places into P6 at the moment, so having a very strong performance here. The same as Philippe Karras now. He's up into the top 10. He's gained 10 places in this one. Same as Jabbar Al-Sabar as well also. Live on board here, you can see how close did they get here. Sada Matsui just losing out on these positions here, but she was able to close back in as well. As there you can see Luna Flusha also fighting in that sector as well. Just trying to close back in, but like I say, she's back up into 7th place now. Still a gain of 4 places in the opening phase of this race. Back here with the race leader, George Nassar, still controlling this race from Maximilian Rafalik. Hugo Heron and Sada Matsui still in tow. 2nd and 3rd place, and 3rd and 4th for them. As fastest laps coming in there, Adam Sador now fastest drive round on track, currently running in 19th place. So again, the pack very, very close here. This is still the first race of the weekend. Plenty more races to go. They've got their 2nd qualifying heat later on today before their first finals, as there are race director Martin Bean watching on with due diligence. He'll be in constant communication with the race control team, who will be watching all of the cameras out on the circuit. Those eyes all over the place there as Flusha once again going wheel to wheel. Just in the background there, that is wheel to wheel with Casper Bonda, currently running in 5th place. Sada Matsui putting in her qualifying pace now in this race. She's fighting back now, fastest lap of the race, 54.207. Still there in P4 though, trying to find the way through. Eyes on this. George Nassar on lap 11. Final lap board will be out then for the front runners. He's opened up a 3/10 lead gap now. Sada Matsui, I think, on this last lap is going to try and get it back up into 3rd place. On board with Charles Lambert as he exited out of the final sector. You can see a huge battle ahead of him fighting away. He kind of sits at the back of that big group. As back to this one here. Well, I think Hugo Heron's feeling the pressure from Sada Matsui behind. Instead of qualifying, trying to find her way back through here. And she's going to find her way back through, down the inside there, through turn number 6 and 7. Delivers a huge move down the inside there, a lot of inside curb. Just puts that cart on 2 wheels as she exits, but gets the move complete, back up into 3rd place. But here though, George Nassar gaining 2 places, starting this one P3, going to claim his first win of the weekend. George Nassar delivering a very strong performance then. Delivered them as well in Dubai. He's going to deliver them here in Elaine as well, across the line. George Nassar takes it ahead of Maximilian Rafalik. Hugo Heron from Sada Matsui. Casper Bonda finishing and rounding out the top 5 from Luna Flusha. Cole Hewitson and Philippe Karras finishing in 7th and 8th place. 12 places gained apiece for them. A superb performance. Jean Karras as well finishing in 9th place, and Charles Lambert rounding out the top 10. But George Nassar claiming his first win of the weekend, delivering a very strong performance there from the 2nd row of the grid. And of course, all of these results provisional, of course, pending any post-race infringements and, of course, scrutineering up for all these drivers. They'll head back to Parc Ferme at the end of a very tense race for them. as well. A tense race for Maximilian Rafalik there, of course. His engine not firing up at the start of that race. He will have been on a sort of situation where he's thinking, oh, is this car going to make it to the end? Marco Shilkunas then finishing in 11th place ahead of Gazi Motlika. Also had a very strong race in that one. Then you had Charlotte Page finishing in 13th place from Isaac Say. Sophia Samfari rounding out the top 15 out on track. Adam Sador and Jabbar Al-Sabah finishing in 16th and 17th place. Alessandro Biggie and Ella Latamar finishing in 18th and 19th place. Sebastian Coulpeng finishing in 20th place from Sky Parker. Unfortunately, after the start of that race, Sky Parker dropping down to 21st place there. In fact, actually 20th, because I think a 5-second time penalty has just been applied to Sebastian Coulpeng. Yana Kapoor finishing in 21st place then ahead of Rian Kairouz finishing in 22nd place. Victor Ravino finishing in 23rd ahead of Anastasia Genesis, and Sebastian Coulpeng finishing in 25th place. 4 retirements in that one. We lost Elizaveta Kozlova, Gianna Pascal, Mohamed Benemni and Louis Hartmann at the start of that race, and this is the start of that race. Sada Matsuri holding on to the lead going in towards turn number 1. Sky Parker, though, you can see her here. She runs out wide at turn number 1. And for a couple of other drivers, even wider out at turn 1. Louis Hartmann, unfortunately, out at turn number 1 as Charles Lambert. You can see they're just getting swamped by the pack at the start. There is Louis Hartmann, understandably frustrated. First race of the weekend, and ending it in the barriers at turn number 1. There was the first change of the lead. George Nassar down the inside at turn 11, just catching Sada Matsui off guard there, and that allowed the likes of Maximilian Rafalik to get through then as well, and Sada Matsui would hold on to 3rd place. There you can see Luna Flusha had closed in. Tried to deliver on the position gains there, but we saw when we go on board with Charles Lambert, she would run wide at the corner there, Luna Flusha, and just losing out to Heron, who was down the inside. Charles Lambert also squeezing down the inside. Another change of the lead. Maximilian Rafalik sending it down the inside at turn 13, just holding on to position through 14, but immediately then in towards turn number 1. George Nassar would fight back. That would bring Sada Matsui back into play. And there you can see some frustration coming in there. You can just think, yeah, again, you can gain the position through 14. You can lose it instantly again at turn 1. It's such a tricky track to gain those track positions on. But at the end of the first qualifying heat, George Nassar in the seniors, he's going to claim his first win of the weekend, delivering a very good and strong result. We'll see those seniors out later on today for their second qualifying heat. That is due to go out on track at 20 to 2 local time. Now, we are going to have a little bit of a break here because we've got around 40 minutes or so before the next race heads out on circuit. There you can see the next race is heading out. It will be OKN Junior at 1 o'clock local time for their second qualifying heat, Mini 16 and the seniors. Then, of course, we go into the first round of finals. They're due to start at 3 o'clock, 3:30 and 4 o'clock for the senior final. Championship points, of course, up for grabs for that. But, of course, championship points up for grabs at the end of the qualifying heats phase. 25 championship points up for grabs if you lead the intermediate classification at the end of those 2 qualifying heats. Well, in about 40 minutes' time, we'll be back. We will take a short break. Don't go anywhere. The second half of day 1 of the Champions of the Future Academy program is coming up next. Academy program live here at the Ain Raceway International Circuit in the United Arab Emirates. We are back for the second half of the qualifying heats that'll be coming out on circuit in a few moments' time. Myself, Anthony Jordan, in the commentary box for you this weekend ahead of the rest of the season as well, of course, as we're around 5 of the 6-round championship. We're a few moments away from the next qualifying heats heading out into the circuit. OKN Junior back out for their second qualifying heat that is due to start at 1 o'clock local time. Then back to Mini 60, OKN Senior, and then of course into those all-important finals coming up later on today, the first installment of the finals this weekend. If you are new to the Champions of the Future Academy program, it does work as a double header. All 3 categories, and starting with the junior category, have the 2 qualifying heats over the course of a day, and then they have the finals on both days as well, meaning there is a lot of championship points up for grabs. And these drivers at the end of this race will be getting crowned 25 championship points, whoever finishes at the top in the intermediate classification. And at the moment, after his first race win, Leonidas Peruzzi, who was starting it on the front row of the grid, will be in a real prime position here to deliver some good results and see if he can come away with the intermediate classification lead. But the pole sitter, James Anagnostiadis, the current championship leader, put it on pole position. We caught up with him after his qualifying session. Well, the end of the junior qualifying sessions here for round 5 of the Champions of the Future at the Ain Raceway. I've got James Anagnostiadis, current championship leader and now on pole position here for Saturday's racing. James, how is the track feeling for you out there?
Yeah, it's a really good track. I like it a lot. It's very flowy and mostly high speed. But yeah, the racing's going to be tricky. Obviously, tyre wear is a big thing here, so just conserving tyre and yeah, trying to finish up the top 5 every heat.
Yeah, it's been a tough one for the second half of the season. Of course, we've had the European phase. We're now midway through the Middle Eastern phase. How would you say it's going so far overall, though?
Yeah, pretty good. I think European we did pretty good point haul, and now just over here, it's a bit more competitive over here. You know, a lot of people from UAE, a lot more drivers from the UAE. So now just trying to get as many points as I can each round, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, you used to obviously hot temperatures and rain from Australia, but now here in Dubai, I mean, it's such a surreal place, isn't it? There is mountains around us, there's deserts, the sunshine is all the way out there. How is it going to be just coping with all of that over the course of today with staying hydrated and everything?
Yeah, it should be right. Just got to stay hydrated and make sure I stay, fuel myself. And yeah, obviously Dubai was a lot worse. So yeah, I'm kind of used to this now. So yeah, it's not too bad.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on the time. We'll see how you go through in your qualifying heats today.
Thank you.
And for the first qualifying heat for James Anagnostiadis, coming away with a second place. So that pace from qualifying certainly being transformed into his race pace there, starting alongside on the front row of the grid. Daniel Kelleher, his first appearance in the senior category here in the Champions of the Future Academy program. Not his first appearance in the world of karting, a very renowned karting champion. He's raced in multiple series across Europe, but he joins us here now in the Middle East for the 5th round of the Champions of the Future Academy program. And qualifying certainly went his way as well, putting it in a really strong performance here ahead of his, like I say, first appearance out there. But I would say this race moments away from getting started. And of course, this grid exactly the same as what it was for Heat 1. Nothing changes on that grid. It is the same from time qualifying that they did first thing this morning. But, as you can see, we're about to get the mechanics race off the line here, and we'll see who wins. Sam Fugit, the mechanic there for Daniel Kelleher, gives it a good push off the line. Hopefully he doesn't step over that white line, though, because that can DSQ a driver. Engines fire up, then drivers heading out onto the track. Let's take you through that full starting lineup ahead of qualifying Heat 2. James Anagnostiadis and Daniel Kelleher going from row number 1. Leonidas Peruzzi, after claiming that win earlier on, starts it on the second row of the grid. We'll have Vanessa Schilkenape for company alongside. Oscar Gallen and Kasper Reipold go from row 3. They'll have Egon Pedrotti and Matthias Witwer on row 4. Nathan Kapan and Sujana Dandu, they round out row number 5. They'll have Toby Gale and William Marshall on row 6. Mitansh Jain and Veer Chopra round out row number 7. Victoria Farfus and Marcel Sapello round out row number 8. Then Ella Hakkinen and Connor Clancy on row 9. Nicholas Stanley and Axel Nocom round out the top 20. They go from row 10. Didier Kreeft and Vera Jurland on row 11. They'll have Corinne Kaur and Xavier Dudkovsky on row 12. We have Zachariah Dole and Dinia Islamov on row 13. Aryan Singh and Maxim Bobrajov on row 14, with Sanjana Dandu and Angelina Simmons on row 15. Amelia Pishamirska rounds out the 31 kart field in this one. She starts it row 16 at the back of the field, but it can only go forward for her in this race. Drivers end their out lap. They begin at their formation lap. And like we were saying earlier on, a very competitive grid of races, but Leonidas Peruzzi claiming that first win for him. Like we were saying as well, Anagnostiadis finishing his race earlier on P2, just behind Anagnostiadis. So again, looking to see what he can do in this one. Toby Gale finishing 3rd place. We go on board with Oscar Gallin in this race. Again, be crucial to see what he can do from his starting position in this one. He's a little further down. He's on the 3rd row of the grid, starting it in P5. What can he do in this race? He did struggle a little bit in that last one. He had to fight back in the second half. But certainly the pace from qualifying has been delivering in this race. Say the temperature is high here, so looking after the tyres is vital for the field in this one. Let's just see what they can do. Peruzzi at the moment leads the intermediate classifications. He's got those 50 intermediate classification points to his name. If he claims another win in this one, he has the 100 points. He claims 25 championship points at the end of the qualifying heat space today, and he secures pole position for the final. But what will the championship leader, Anagnostiadis, say about that as the field head towards the tram lines? Are we racing? Yes, we are. We're green flag and racing down in towards turn number 1. And once again, it's a brilliant start for Anagnostiadis. Holds on to the race lead as they reach the apex then at turn number 1. Is anyone going wide? Couple of drivers going onto that curb on the exit of turn number 1, but everyone clean and dry in towards turn number 2. They come into the next sector now. This is where it gets a bit tight and twisty. It's the pinch point on the circuit, and some drivers here have been caught out in the past, but this time around, once more, the field holds on to it nicely. Down the inside, there you can see Anagnostiadis holding on to the lead. Leonidas Peruzzi has got there into 2nd place. He's had another good start to this race here, and he's instantly saying, right, keep going. If he does claim this win, he will have the pole position for the final. If he finishes in 2nd, he won't, because again, Anagnostiadis, the pole sitter, out-qualified him. He would get the jump on him. So if they finished in this order now, it would be Anagnostiadis, despite the fact that they'd be joint on points. Across the line they go then. Anagnostiadis leads the way from Peruzzi. Daniel Kelleher there in 3rd place is piling on the pressure as that slipstream effect certainly plays into effect here. Reipold's there in 4th place. He has gained 2 places in this race as he tries to close in on the drivers up ahead. Oscar Gallin, Matej Vitva, Brodrozzi's there as well. Gale's gained 3 places. Kappen from Mitans Jain has also gained 3 places, is rounding out the top 10. But the front runners here, very, very close. And I don't think Anagnostiadis is going to like this attention too much. He wants to try and break away, but in this position, he'll be all fine and clear. That's gone terribly wrong for Dinia Islamov. He is out of this race and will go no further. He'll try and get that restarted, but I don't think it's going to go. Here, though, down towards turn 13. A little look to the inside there for Daniel Kelleher. Backs out of it the last moment. Stays behind as they exit out of through turn 14. Now this is where Anagnostiadis is starting to open up the power a little bit here as down the inside goes Daniel Kelleher. Now that was a vital move there because he could see that Peruzzi just wasn't closing in as quick as I think he would like. Remember, it is hot here. The tarmac is quite coarse at the Elaine circuit, meaning these tyres do drag out just that little bit. So they do need to be careful they don't overuse the tyres. They get 1 set per day. So these tyres will have done time qualifying. These 2 qualifying heats then will have to use these very same tyres for the final as well. There is Dinia Islamov, unfortunately. We saw him trying to restart his car. He is out of this 2nd race. The only solace he can take from it is he will be in the final later on, but albeit well far down in the order. Eyes on this one then. Kelleher, who was able to get past Peruzzi. is able to keep in contact with Anagnosiadis, and there the slipstream down the start-finish straight. Just putting him back into play here. A lot of curb on the exit there for some, more for others there, as I think that was Cap'n going a bit wide there. We saw Ripple going wide as well. Daniel Kelleher, fastest lap of the race as well. This is exactly what the Irishman needs. 56.597. Pushing in right now and just waiting for that prime opportunity to go for the move. Down the back straight now, heading into the final sector on the circuit. Then these two fast left-handers here before the back straight. Tucking into that slipstream, just giving him a kick on that rear bumper just to say that I'm right here, you've not broken away. And right, okay, well, hand gesture there from Dinier Ismov saying that I didn't crash, he hit me. And let's see what happens here as down in towards turn number 1. Action for the race lead. Through goes Kelleher and through goes Leonidas Peruzzi. He's up into second place once again. His chance of starting on pole position for that final and taking those 25 championship points are not over just yet, as he has the opportunity here. We're only on lap 5 of 9-lap race, and it's all kicking off here as there goes Peruzzi down the inside. Leonidas Peruzzi takes the lead as they go through turns 7, 8 and 9 onto the final sector of the lap, but he's not going to hold on to it for long. Kelleher's going to bite it back now through turn 11. Back down the inside, they won't have the pace then. Down that long back straight, Anagnosiadis will be able to close in here if these two continue at this rate. Where is Kasper Reipold? He's dropped off the back. He was closing in on these drivers. He may have had an issue because now he's got the likes of Gale, Witwer and Capin all on his rear bumper. Back over the start-finish line they go. Kelleher holds on to the lead in towards turn 1. He does go a little bit defensive here now, and Peruzzi doesn't like that. He is communicating with him, saying, go, go, don't defend. And now he's got Anagnosiadis back on his rear bumper. So again, this is not what he wants to see. Marshall's taking advantage of this battle as well. He's closing in and setting the fastest lap of the race as well. He's a little further down in the order, but he's still having a very strong race in this one. He's currently 8th place right now behind Reipold, who we were talking about closing in on these three, has now tumbled just behind him now. So there we go, you can see how close it is. Right, back onto that back straight now, and is there going to be a move for the inside? Here we go, there is. Peruzzi to the inside, Anagnosiadis goes through as well. That is how powerful the slipstream is on the back straight here at the Ain Raceway. Across the line they go, still super close here. Peruzzi, though, holding on to this lead. Anagnosiadis right on that rear bumper, just pushing him through turn number 1. Sticks right with him now as they enter into turn number 5, 6, 7, and the rest. But this is where it starts to get interesting now. The laps are running out. The pace has got to the quickest it's gone. They've got no other pressure from drivers behind. It's just these three, Peruzzi, Anagnosiadis and Kelleher. 1, 2, 3 right now. They are clear by about 2 seconds from the rest of the field. Now you can see Kelleher's dropped back a little bit. That's probably the smart thing to do. He's probably thinking that these two, they're getting a bit feisty now. They're going for these moves, as we're going to see another one here down the inside. How close could you get? Anagnosiadis back to the lead now. He just sends it to the inside. He's going to push along now. He claims the lead of this race as they go on to lap number 8. So this is the penultimate lap. Last lap board will be out this time to the drivers. And Peruzzi went defensive there. That gave Kelleher the line there. That gave him the track position. He has closed right in on that rear bumper again now. This is the battle just behind there as well. You've still got Toby Gale who's leading that battle now. He's got past the likes of Reipold as well. Kappa's got there. Marshall's got there as well. They've all changed around in the background, so there's still multiple battles going on. But like we were saying, with Anagnosiadis taking this win, if Peruzzi holds on to second place, he'll be fine. But he's down to 3rd place. This is where he doesn't want to be. Peruzzi needs to win this if he wants pole position. Daniel Kelleher at this moment is looking at a 3rd place at start for the final if he holds on to this 2nd place position. But Anagnosiadis is looking for a pole position for that final. Last lap board comes out this time, and that's the biggest gap that Anagnosiadis has got so far in this race, up to 0.4 of a second. Kelleher and Peruzzi need to work together on this last lap to close the gap I don't think they're going to be able to do so as they exit out of turn 5 through turn 6. Gale, though, that's what I wanted to bring up in. You can just see him closing in behind. Fastest driver on circuit, 55.858, is closing in, but you can see how big the gap is there, and with how little there is left of this lap, there's no way he'll be able to close in. But this man here, Anagnosiadis, James Anagnosiadis from Australia, has delivered so far this season. As the battle for second place kicks off once more, Kelleher has to go defensive. He'll hold on to it, though, across the line. Anagnosiadis, he'll claim his first win of the weekend. Farfus, Vishamierska from Simmons, Dukowski from Vitva, Hakkinen from Dandu, Jurland from Kor, and the retirements, Maxim Bobrajov retiring, and Denia Islamov also retiring from their second qualifying heat of the first day of racing. Well, juniors will be back out later on today. As you can see, drivers making their way over the weighbridge. They have to meet that minimum weight. If they are underneath that, they will be in a spot of bother. So it's still a tense time until they've got past that. And they know they are all fine and dry now. But there on your screen, James Anagnosiadis of Australia, current championship leader, claims another 25 championship points to his name. He goes into that final later on today on pole position. Let's see how he done it. This was the start of the race and some of the highlights. And you can see immediately Leonidas Peruzzi on the attack there in towards turn 1. Wasn't able to close in just at the rate I think he would like. There, Vanessa Shilkaneta just getting squeezed off at the start of that race as Reipold sending it down the inside. Brilliant stuff there as they all push through. There you can see the early messages from the rest, just saying, come on, let's try and break away. As unfit Harsh, I think he bottomed out there and it kind of skated along the curb there, along the curb there on the exit. On that put him right back in the field. Here was Leonidas Peruzzi back down the inside of Kelleher, claiming that lead back. Again, wouldn't hold on to it because Anagnosiadis, again, a few laps later, would immediately go back down the inside through the same turn he gained it on earlier on, and then claims that lead back. And then Kelleher once again would be on the charge, and this time not at the two corners that we'd seen moves previously. This time around, this was through turns 9 and 10. But across the line, James Anagnosiadis claims his first win of the weekend. He gets those championship points. He gets the intermediate points as well. That will put him on pole position. And he will start that final later on today, right at that sharp end. Don't miss that one. That will be coming out 3 o'clock local time. Make sure you set your alarms, but don't go anywhere because Mini 60 qualifying Heat 2, that is coming up next. 7-lap race, 9.5 kilometer race distance, and all the way throughout the Minis. Again, they had a very dramatic race earlier on. Bruno Priam taking the win in that one after not qualifying high at all. He qualified a little further down in the order, but this man here, Nikita Zhalilov, he was the pole sitter from time qualifying. He delivered a brilliant lap. His race, though, was a little bit challenging. He held on to it through turn 1. He was fighting very harsh in those early stages, holding on and doing a really good job, with just later the slipstream effect, it would hold him back. The drivers here can get such a slipstream in the Mini 60 category where you just can't break away. And if you do break away, you'll be caught in the next lap or so, and then you've just got all the drivers to deal with, and the pressure was on his shoulders. But like we say, Bruno Priam took the win on that one. Albert Tam, Nicolo Perico finishing 3rd place. This man here, Achilles Peruzzi, fastest driver in the under-10s in qualifying. He delivered as well over the course of this one. There you can see a look at some of his final results over the course of this one. But he has had a really good season, but he finished in P4 behind Nicolo Perico. And Perico is a driver that you certainly do need to keep an eye on in the under-10 category in the Mini 60 race here. Albert Tam, starting on the 2nd row of the grid. He was the driver certainly very, very close. Remember, those two crossed the start-finish line in that first qualifying heat, separated by 5 thousandths of a second. The winner from Cremona delivered well in Italy in the first round. That was on the Saturday. Sunday, he finished third, and he's maintained that throughout the rest of them. Franciacorta didn't fully go his way, and of course, neither did Dubai. Unfortunately, he got a DNF in that second final in Dubai, but Alain has certainly delivered some much closer racing for him here. And let's see what can happen. But I'm curious about the driver starting alongside him, though. Nicolo Perico certainly delivered in Dubai, and so far this weekend has also delivered. The Italian has had an up and down season, but he's been consistent. He did get the DNFs at Valencia. That weekend didn't go his way, but he has always been solidly inside the top 5 in those finals. It was only Valencia where it didn't go his way. That was the weekend he can forget and not worry about. But looking forward here, so far, delivered in Dubai. Can he do the same here in Alain? And of course, at that final round at the start of December, we'll be heading, of course, to Al Fassan in Abu Dhabi. 1 minute board goes up in the air. There is Robert Ruiz, the chief grid officer, at the front of the field here from Spain. Certainly used to the sunshine and tempered conditions here, but doing a fabulous job there on the starting grid. Yellow flag then waves, meaning we're around 30 seconds away from starting the formation laps for the Mini 60, as they'll be making their way out onto the track in a few moments' time. We'll, of course, take you through that full starting lineup, but can Bruno Priam make his way through that field? Like you say, he didn't qualify too well, did Bruno Priam. The championship leader started his race earlier on P8, but came through that field. 7 places gained, really stepped it up, and it was all good. Problems for the pole sitter. Now, Nikita Jalilov, he is not fired up. The mechanics work on it. They're going to give it a push to get it going. And is it going to cough into life? I think it is, but very slowly. The question is, can he get back? Row 10, they'll have David Chito and Augustine Falagoni on row 11. Davide Di Filippo and Saif Alabaigli go from row number 12. Sebastian Kurz and Daoud Sanfari will be rounded out the field by Suleiman Mucho, round out the 27-kart field. More drama on the pre-grid. Augustine Falagoni, his kart also didn't fire up. It's fired up now. You can see there the Paralympic mechanics doing what they can to get it going. They rev it up, they drop it down. Is it going to keep going? Oh, I think it is going to keep going, but yeah, Falagoni is going to be right down the order. I mean, the only good thing you can take away from this is that he was starting 22nd, so he's not got, was starting 22nd, so he's not got too many positions to try and gain in that one. The only thing he can take away is that his engine won't be as hot as the rest. I think he's out of this race then before it starts, and that is a huge shame for the young driver. He'll have to try and get that one fixed ready then ahead of the final later on today, but he'll be starting a little further down in that order. Right then, field makes its way to the start-finish line. We are green and racing down in towards turn at number 1 as they head in towards that first apex. Can they all get through it cleanly? I think they cannot, and there's a huge moment at turn number 1, and drivers scattering to try and find position. Now, they're all still on 4 wheels, but one driver there cartwheeled at the exit of turn number 1. They're all still going, but I can imagine a little bit of discomfort for many. As you can see, the field trying to push themselves through. Multiple drivers involved on that one. Karajkovic is there as well. You've got others there. David Chitov was one of them. I think Falagoni, yeah, he's broken down, of course. Saif Alabai here. Purple sectors coming in for the field here as drivers try and scrabble to find any race position. There, though, your race leaders coming into view down in towards turn at number 1 again. Albert Tam holding on to second place, but Nikita Jalilov with that startup issue did manage to start on pole position, so he is still right there. Bruno Priam once again making his way through the field here as Martin Lormetz holding on to third place right now. He is still right in that tow, trying to push his way forward here. But the rest of the field all coming through the pack there. It's a very tight part of the circuit as they exit out of that back straight. It really concertinas up a little bit through the tight, twisty section as they head down into the back half of the circuit now. This is where they go in through turn 11 and 12, back on the start-finish straight. From my commentary box position, they're out of view. For here, though, you can see them as down the inside. That's looking to be a lead change there, and it is once again. While defensive drive, Zalilov, I believe, holds on to it. Tam has tumbled down the order just that little bit more as they head in towards turn number 1. Then once again, over the start-finish line, we're going to lap number 3 now, and it is still Zalilov who leads the way. Mason's there. Aaron Mason has got up into second place in this one. He's gained 5 places ahead of Bruno Priam, who's there in 3rd place. Also, a gain of 5 places. Line astern here. Tam's gone down to P4. He needs to dig deep in this one. He needs to try and fight back. He will be able to. That slipstream is far too powerful for anyone to break away. It just keeps the group nice and concertinaed up. As you can see, the chopping and changing is happening in the background there. Mark Martin Lawrence, Ari Kallenberg, Atika Mir is up in that fight as well. She's pushing her way through also. Very talented young female driver from the United Arab Emirates, certainly delivering here in the Championship of the Future Academy program. Here we go, in towards 13. This is where it gets interesting. Bruno down the inside. Bruno Priam taking 2nd place, moving up ahead of Aaron Mason. Back onto the start-finish line. Now he'll have the chance of going for the pole sitter. Nikita Zalilov holds on to the race lead on this one, but for how much longer? Because the pace here, once again, for the likes of Bruno Priam is exemplary. He is just siding his way through the field here, taking it one corner at a time, one position at a time. And the young Belgian certainly is delivering here at the Ain Raceway. Onto the back straight they go then. Drivers looking out of the slipstream there. Perico trying to go for the move to the inside. He's leading the under-10s, but he's currently there in P5 overall in this race. And again, he's going to try and have to dig deep in this to see if he can try and close in on these front runners. Great group of 4 now starting to break away here. Zalilov, Bruno Priam, Mason and Tam. Still line astern. Those drivers P5 and 6, Perico and Peruzzi, will have that slipstream, will have the tow. But one long train now for these drivers through turn 13 and 14. Back onto the start-finish straight. No changes this time around. Down the long start-finish straight again here. Are we going to see some moves to the inside? We are going to see moves to the inside. Aaron Mason getting the move done on Bruno Priam. And Priam now has gone backwards in the field. Dust has been kicked up. Has there been a little bit of a moment for some as they go through? Tam's up to 3rd place. So Bruno Priam has lost out a fair deal there. He's gone down to P5 now. That's how quickly it can go wrong in the Mini 60 category. You lose one, you lose multiple places, and that's what we always talk about. It's all about the slipstream. It's all about momentum in the Mini 60 category. If you can hold on to that, you can really gain good places in this one. He did it earlier on. This time around, it's not gone his way. Breakaway now for the top 2, and this is where it gets dangerous. So Zalilov and Mason, they're in a really good position here now. 1-2, line astern. They can push each other away if they work together, and they can break away from the rest of the field. This is why it's dangerous for the rest of the field, because Albert Tam is there in 3rd place. He has got the company of the rest of the drivers behind, but there's a little bit of a breathing space. So they're not getting the full momentum out of that slipstream, which means if he's unable to close in, he will just keep dropping backwards here now. If Aaron Mason goes for the move, he's in a really good spot. Zalilov at the moment, he is in a really strong position with the result earlier on and this result right now. He is still looking at pole position for that final, despite earlier on he did drop down the order a little bit in his qualifying heat, but he will still have 86 points. Now, at this moment in time, he is joint on points with Bruno Priam, but because Priam's gone back down to P5, he's going to lose out on pole position, of course, because they're joint on points. Zalilov on pole, Bruno Priam, no, he wasn't on pole. Means that yes, he gets the jump on him for that final and those 25 championship points. However, Bruno Priam is still there. He is still in this lead group. He's there in P5. All he needs to do is get past Nicolo Perico or just get up into P4. And he's back on pole position for that final. And with these drivers battling away, that is highly, highly probable. Here we go then, down in towards turn number 2 once more. We're on lap number 7 now. We're on to the final lap of this race. And still Jalilov leads from Mason, Tam Perico. Then it's Bruno Priam from Lomets. Atika Mir is still there in 7th place from Peruzzi. Ava Lawrence in 9th, and Oscar Singh rounding out the top 10 on this final lap of the race. They're still battling for position behind. If Bruno Priam can get up into 4th place, like we were saying, he's in a strong position here, as we're going to see a change for the lead. Aaron Mason down the inside, and wide goes Nikita Jalilov. That will also benefit the likes of Bruno Priam. Could that put him on pole position for the final? I think it will, because he's gone right down the order, and Aaron Mason now leads the way on this final lap of the race. He's going to cross the line. He's going to take the checkered flag. It's going to be another photo finish, though. Could it be? It's Aaron Mason across the line once again by 0.04 of a second across the line between Mason and Tam. Once again, Albert Tam misses out on a race win by less than 1/10 of a second. My goodness, in 2 races. How on earth is Albert Tam going to deal with this one? He'll have to settle for P2. That will put him on pole position, I will stress. Albert Tam, with 2 second places, puts him on pole because these joints on points with Bruno Priam, both on 88. But again, Albert Tam out-qualified him. That qualifying earlier on for Bruno Priam has bitten hard for him here. He's lost out on pole position despite his best efforts. There, that's gone very wrong. That is Nicolo Perico, who was fighting right up at the sharp end. He did finish 3rd place, that's fine. That's post-checkered flag that's happened for Nicolo Perico. And hopefully he can get that one sorted out, ready for his final later on today. But gingerly walking back there, it looks like he's okay, but yeah, not sure what's happened to him on that one, but clearly something after the checkered flag. Drivers will make their way back then into Parc Ferme, and congratulations all around. But for this man here, Aaron Mason comes away with his first qualifying heat win of the season, I am inclined to say, over the course of this one. Aaron Mason, certainly a very strong result there. And there again, Nicolo Perico broken at the side of the circuit. No idea what's happened to that car, if it was just a breakdown or maybe an assist. But being after the checker flag, I'm going to say it's probably mechanical in nature. And his cart's just coughed out of life, luckily, after the checkered flag. If there was one more lap, I can imagine he'd be absolutely fuming out there. Well, like we're saying, Aaron Mason taking his first win of the weekend, and I believe the season as well, ahead of Albert Tam by, once again, 0.042 of a second. Nothing between the top 2. Nicolo Perico finishing 3rd place ahead of Bruno Priam, finishing 4th. Now, we were saying that he needed 4th place if the order stayed the same, but because, of course, that we lost one of our drivers in there, of course, our pole sitter from that race, Jalilov dropping backwards behind all of them. It put him on the back foot there a little bit. So that does promote then Albert Tam to pole position for that final as the cleanup operation underway there. Great work from the marshalling team. But yeah, so that's a very interesting situation. So Albert Tam, despite the fact that he's only had those 2 second places, he does secure pole position for that final later on, and he claims the 25 championship points as well. So a very, very good day of racing from there. You can see Marc-Martin Lormetz just trying to escape from Parc Ferme. In fact, the drivers all doing that now. They can head back to their tents. The carts, however, do have to stay. P5 for Marc-Martin Lormetz. A very strong result there for the Estonian. But we'll talk about the Mini 60s later on today, because we will turn our attention now over to the senior category, qualifying heat 2 for OKN Senior. That is coming up next, and already we did see some exciting racing from the seniors. A brand new pole sitter in the senior category, with a brand new driver as well stepping up into the senior category. Of course, Sara Matsui from Japan, not only stepping up into the senior category, we saw that happen the first time in Dubai at the last round, at round 4. Round 5, in her second full-time appearance in the senior category, she has put it on pole position in timed qualifying. So, again, a very, very strong performance from us so far. Did finish that race in P4 earlier on, though, so the pace is still good. Just lost out a little bit, though, from the other drivers. George Nassar and Maximum Rafalek from the second row of the grid in that first race. They managed to sneak it forward. They got it into first and second place. So that's the results that they wanted. Hugo Heron was the biggest impressing driver in that one. 10 places gained after not a great qualifying, put him up to third place. And like we just witnessed in the Mini 60, that's going to put him in a tricky position here, because again, he's going to put himself in a strong place maybe in this race. If he can get up to third, maybe second, maybe even a qualifying heat win in this one for the Frenchman, would put him in a really strong spot. However, that qualifying would just put him on the back foot a little bit, because if the other drivers can score the same points, they would be immediately put above him, because, of course, they out-qualified him. There you can see drivers in the shade, getting themselves primed and ready for this one. Markus Schilkunis, who will be starting this one on the front row of that grid, just doing some jumping jacks a little bit there, getting himself sorted out. Sada Matsui there, pole sitter on the left-hand side. Then, of course, you've got the likes of Maximum Rafalek just there as well. On your screen, and a nice wave there and a smile from our pole sitter for this one, Sada Matsui, ahead of this race. But there you can see a very happy driver ahead of this one. But these drivers right now, it's a tense time. You know, the championship is nearing its close. They've still got today, of course, and tomorrow. And, of course, they've also got Alpha San, the final round of the championship. And all of them are trying to do one thing, and that is close that championship gap up to Luna Flusha, who is the championship leader so far. The Spaniard has dominated this season, and the rest of these drivers have really just been on that back foot trying to close in. But Markus Schilkunis there is a driver who knows how to deal with that pressure. He sits fourth in the championship right now. He sits behind the likes of Hugo Ron and Philippe Carras, who are the drivers who have certainly delivered good, strong performances at the moment. And you can see them all getting themselves primed and ready, race ready ahead of this final race. And you can imagine all of them keeping those race suits off to the very last moment. It is very warm here. We're around 30 degrees. It's a very hot day. It's a very dry temperature that we've got here because, of course, we're not near the coast now. We're quite far inland. Like we say, we're about an hour and a half away from the city of Dubai and Abu Dhabi. So it's a lot drier here. We're right on the border with Oman, and it's certainly a very interesting circuit here. When you look out over the track, you expect to see trees and everything like that. There's mountains that surrounded the track, of course. It's a very beautiful location, but then you've just got that sort of that desert in the background. You can see as far as the eye can see, and it's a very, very interesting circuit. But for these drivers, I think they've taken to it very, very strongly, because the pace that we've seen here, very quick, and of course the racing that we've seen as well has been pretty dramatic as well. There is Markus Schilkunis, helmet on there, primed and ready to go ahead of this one. He's got his work cut out for him in this, though. Like you're saying, his result earlier on was not the result I think he wanted. He did finish that first race in 11th place. He dropped down the order a little bit. But again, in this, he can just fight back, focus, see what he can do. He's got that benefit of the fact that he qualified second overall. So that really puts him, again, in a strong position still, if he can get that solid result in this race. Sada Matsui, the pole sitter from qualifying, that P4 earlier on, still another P4 will still put her in a really strong from starting this race. And like we were saying with that championship fight, it is still close for second, third, fourth, fifth, downwards, of course. There is only a handful of points between the likes of Hugo Heron and Philippe Carras was there. Markus Schilkunis, we explained that earlier on, is fourth in the championships. Maximum Rafalek, though, P5 in the championship as well. He's got around 40, 50 points between himself and the likes of Markus Schilkunis just ahead. And that's only the points that you can gain in a final. That's a championship win, because a final win in this championship is 50 championship points. So, again, you have got that benefit of that one. A total of 152 championship points over the course of a full race weekend. And all of these drivers will be looking to claim all of those points as much as they can. Field primed and ready there. Moments away from starting this one. You can imagine tension starting to build now for this grid as they go to work. This will be their last qualifying heat before their finals today. And of course, when they head out onto this track, it's all down to them. Sara Matsui, after her first pole position earlier on, had a good race, only dropping a couple of places, holding on to a top 5 finish as engines fire up. Let's take you through then that full starting lineup ahead of the rest of the field. It is Sara Matsui and Marcus Shilkunas on row number 1. George Nassar and Maximilian Rafalek go from row number 2. Casper Bonda and Sky Parker round out row number 3. Parker losing out at the start of that race earlier on, running wide at turn number 1 as Elizaveta Kozlova's engine now coughs into life. Unfortunately, she's not had the best getaway there. Charles Lambert starting this one on the 4th row of the grid. Ella Latimer starting alongside. Sophia Sanfari and Gianna Pascal round out row number 5. Luna Flusha, championship leader, starts alongside final winner from Sunday at Dubai, Mohamed Menemni. They go from row number 6. They'll have Hugo Heron and Charlotte Page on row 7. Isaac Say and Jean Caras go from row 8. They'll have Elizaveta Kozlova, who's just fired into life, hopefully starting on the 9th row of the grid. We'll have the likes of Gazi Motlaka starting alongside. Carl Hewitson and Philippe Caras go from row number 10 and round out the top 20. They'll have Adam Sador and Prix Davino on row 11. Alessandro Biggie and Yana Kapoor go from row 12. They'll have Rian Caruz and Jabbar Al-Sabar on row 13. Anastasia Genesis and Louis Hartmann on row 14. Hopefully Hartmann can have a better start this time around. Of course, he was out at turn number 1 in that first qualifying heat. Sebastian Corpeng rounds out the 29-car field for the senior category, who are now on their formation lap. They ended their out lap. This lap here, from this point onwards, they'll be heading to that red line before turn 13. From that point on, no overtaking permitted, and they should be in the 2x2 rolling start formation. Sara Matsui, though, 4th place earlier on for the pole sitter in time qualifying. First time we've seen her start on pole this season. From Japan, certainly delivering in this race, but she's got the company. The rest of the field, of course, Marcus Shilkunas with, I think, the optimal line here in towards turn 1. Sara Matsui, of course, has the inside line going into it, but the racing line is effectively on the outside, so the drivers do need to try and sweep across from pole as quickly as they possibly can. That makes it a little bit tricky here. All right, we're a bit eager at the front here. The back of the field hasn't concertinaed it up. Are we going green and racing? I don't think we are. It looks like it's a false start. It is a false start. They are going round again, and I think that was the front of the grid, very eager to go there. Of course, they are in control of the pace at the start of this race, but the back of the grid were all coming through that final corner. They were all kind of spread out and slow, so they weren't able to close in, and then yeah, that's not the start sort of procedure that we want to see. But they get another attempt at it here, and let's see what they can do. A look at the intermediate classifications. Of course, effectively it was the results of what happened earlier on. George Nassar with the 50 intermediate classification points ahead of Maximilian Rafalek with his 44. Hugo Heron with 41. Sara Matsui with 38. Bonda with 36. Philippe Caras with 34. Jean Caras with 32. And Charles Lambert with 30 intermediate classification points. What happens in this race will be accumulated onto that. We'll get our pole sitter for the final, and we'll find out who will be claiming those 25 championship points. So, again, we look forward to seeing what happens in this race. You have to wait for the start of it, though. As drivers, once again, they pass the red line. There you can see it at the top right-hand corner of your screen just coming into effect. There is our race director, Martin Bean, getting ready to start this race. He is primed and ready. He's got a good view of the start here, but again, the front need to keep it steady, keep it slow. Again, they have to sort of wait until the yellow line here. You can see that on the grid. Lights are green. We are racing here. And who's going to get the whole shot in towards turn number 1? It's going to be Sara Matsui from pole position who holds on to it then. in towards turn number 1. A brilliant start then for her and the rest of the field, but it's got a bit sideways at the back there. Drivers into the dusty part of the circuit there, and on the gravel it's gone terribly wrong for some, including there Philippe Carras. That's not gone his way at all. Philippe Carras, who had a much better result earlier on, now this time around will tumble down the order and will really suffer when it comes to points gains and where he will start for that final if he is right to the back of the grid here. Sada Matsoy, though, has held on to the lead here, but a quick dive outside goes in towards turn 1. A brilliant dive down the inside for George Nassar, and he claims the lead of this race once again on the opening lap. He holds a tight inside line through turn 13. Sada Matsoy cannot find a way through. She follows that tight inside line. Fundamentally, that keeps everyone else behind as well. So she holds on to second place right now, but she's got to dig deep here as down the inside, it's all going to get a little bit interesting here as Charles Lambert tries to go for third place, and he claims third place. He gets through past the likes of Casper Bonda, and Bonda now on the back foot here as Luna Flusha has closed in. Once again, Luna Flusha has had an exemplary start. She's gained 6 places on that opening lap, and Hugo Ron has followed as well because he's up 7 places in this race. At the front, though, George Nassar has been able to open up a gap now as Sada Matsoy's dropped down to third place. Charles Lambert is now up into P2 as the Frenchman will try and close in, and there is Philippe Carras' kart going no further in this race. He went wide, and another driver into the barrier. That is Cole Hewitson. Cole Hewitson out of this race. The driver from South Africa clearly frustrated. I am not sure if that's mechanical in nature or if he was assisted off the circuit. That is not what you want to see at all. But the race continues, however. And again, more hands going up in the air there of drivers just saying, what are you doing? As there's more drama here, as off the circuit there is Gianna Pascal. Gianna Pascal going no further in this race. That's a huge shame. She had a brilliant qualifying earlier on. She started so far up in the order, and she's the latest retirement. And I'm not sure if that was anything to do with Cole Hewitson as well, because there was a big knock in that rear bumper there when we saw that kart stricken in the gravel. So clearly not gone his way at all. This, though, this has got interesting. Back to the inside. This is the fight for the lead. George Nassar and Charles Lambert line astern. George Nassar back up into the race lead now. We saw Charles Lambert go for the move earlier on. He's gone back down into second place now, as through goes the rest of the field. Hugo Ron there. Marcus Shulkunis there as well. Sada Matsoy is there in P5. Sophia Sanfari is up into P6. This is an incredible drive for Sophia Sanfari. I think this is her best race performance so far this season. She is delivering a really strong race here at the Ain Raceway. Can she maintain that, though, as this race goes on? We are on lap 4 of 12 right now, and the front two have broken away, but George Nassar just has that pace now, has the pressure to continue this one and try and break away from Charles Lambert, who is there in P2, certainly delivering, though, the results that he needs. Head on up 10 places. Once again, is matching his result he got earlier on, but, like you say, only second in the points. George Nassar, after that win earlier on and currently leading this race, has got the maximum 100 intermediate classification points. He is in the position he wants to be. And so he's still there in P5. Dropped down again into those 4 places. But Sanfari's still there as well. Luna Flusha just behind as well. Very talented drivers pushing the way through. Championship leader in 7th place. Sky Parker into 8th place. It's a much better race for her this time around. Of course, she has she had that bad start earlier on in that first qualifying heat. She ran wide at turn number 1. This time, she's in P8, having a much stronger race in this one. But George Nassar still leads from Charles Lambert. Those two breaking away now by nearly a second from the rest of the field. Say, you go on, still holding on to that 3rd place from the rest of them. And a look in that intermediate classification as well, because it has all changed a little bit. Like you say, George Nassar with the 100 points, he is still leading it. He's looking for pole position and those 25 championship points. Head on at the moment is second in the intermediate classification. Saramatsui is third, so she's going to lose out on the front row, but she's not going to lose out by a great deal because she'll sit right behind George Nassar for that final later on if she stays in P5 at the moment. Charles Lambert currently fourth in the intermediate classifications with this second place. If he can gain another position, it helps him out. He would move past Saramatsui because they are joint on 74 points apiece. Maximum Rafalik currently fifth in the intermediate classifications ahead of Shilkunas. Sofia Sanfari is seventh ahead of Luna Flusha in eighth in the intermediate classification. So again, those are the order right now of where they would start for the final if the race finished in this very order. But we're only going on to lap 7 now of 12. A long way to go in this race, so anything can happen. Here, though, Charles Lambert. He's dropped off the back of George Nassar, and Hugo Heron has closed in. The battle for second place is on. A look at some of the stats from these two drivers. 7th place started Charles Lambert, up 5 places. 13th place for Hugo Heron. He's gained 10 in this race. In 3rd place, can he go for 11 on lap 7? That would be the ultimate question. Hasn't looked to the inside just yet. He's stayed behind as they go through at turn number 11 and 12. Back onto the back straight, this time in towards turn 13. Is he close enough for the change? Yes, he is. He gets through past at turn 13. That brings in Marcus Shilkunas just behind. The top 4 now very close as you see the trio behind closing in. Saramatsui, Sanfari, Luna Flusha right there. The final winner from Dubai. Mohamed Menemni is there as well, who's got past Sky Parker. Ghazi Motlaka now rounds out the top 10. Ghazi Motlaka, who delivered strong results in Cremona at the first round in the horrible, horrible rainy conditions, if you remember what we had there in Italy right at the start of the season. He is back fighting fit now in this one, up inside that top 10. Elizaveta Kozlova, fastest lap of the race. Certainly delivering a very strong performance in this one, despite that cut not starting at the start of this race. Clearly, the engine working well, though. She's currently in 13th place on a very strong performance right now. She's at 4 places. Here's a look at that overtake down in towards turn number 13 in the early stages of that race. That was the initial lead change for George Nassar, and that was a very strong and scary moment there at the exit of turn number 14 for the rest. But that is a huge moment there. I think that was Luna Flusha just going wide at the start of that race. And she's still in control of this one. Saramatsui is still there in P5. Flusha has got past the likes of Saramatsui now. She's got herself up into P5. Sofia Sanfari is still in P7. Ahead of Mohamed Menemni. Sky Parker and Ghazi Motlaka, they're still in position. So there has been changes here. Charles Lambert, like we're saying, in 2nd place, delivering well. This is the move down in towards turn number 1, and just straight down the inside. No drama there whatsoever. Got it through. You can see them constantly fighting back for position. Marcus Shilkunas getting through as well, past Hugo Heron. And despite the fact that he gained several places in this one, he's been firmly put in his place. And he's back down into P4 in this race. George Nassar then on lap 10 is cleared by 1.3 seconds from these two here, Charles Lambert and Marcus Shilkunas. Shilkunas needing the good results in this. He's trying to gain as many points as he can in the championship. He's 4th in that championship fight right now. Again, he's got plenty of points available for him to try and close that gap up. But he's going to have a really tough fight ahead of him here, because he sits 6th in the intermediate classification. Another position gained here will assist him. He sits just 1 point behind the likes of Saramatsui and Maximum Rafalik. They have 70. He has 69 points in the intermediate classification. So if he can get up into 2nd place, he will gain at least 2 places in that intermediate classification. And that will in turn put him in another strong position for that final later on. You can see the gap between the two of them, just 0.2 of a second. As we go on to lap 11. Final lap board will be out this time to the drivers, and then next cross the start-finish line. But right now, it's all down to whether or not Shilkunas can go for it, and he can go for it. Down the inside through turn number 6, claims that spot, and that will be a huge confident boost for the driver who's 4th in the championship. Did start on the front row for these heats. He's lost out on a few paces, but that will put him right up back into the second row of the grid. He'd start P4 alongside. Now, Sara Matsui, she's gained another position again in this one. She's dropped down from pole position, don't get me wrong, but she gained another one there. So she's put herself in another strong position, joint with Marcus Shilkunis now, both of them on 72 points as we go on to the final lap of this race. George Nassar leads the way, now over 2 seconds from Shilkunis, head on from Lambert. This, though, is where it's starting to kick off because, like you say, Hugo Heron has fought back in this race. He's back into third place. Charles Lambert has dropped behind, and now Luna Flusha is right on that rear bumper. Flusha, the championship leader, can she gain 1 or 2 more places in this race to help her out for that final later on today? It's going to be a tough fight, but there's only a handful of corners left to go. You can see how much the gaps are. George Nassar has disappeared. He's gonna have pole position. He's gonna have the 25 championship points. Shilkunis is in second, but this one here, head on, Lambert and Flusha, absolutely line astern. Checker flag is coming out. That's going to George Nassar. He starts on pole. He gets 25 championship points. He ends his qualifying heats on the first day of racing very, very strongly. He's in a really good place right here, right now. Shilkunis finishes in second place, but where was the battle behind? It was Hugo Heron, Charles Lambert, and Luna Flusha. They didn't change places. They stayed line astern. Sara Matsui finishes in P6 ahead of Gazi Motlako, finishing in 7th place ahead of Sofia Sanfari. Mohamed Menemne finishing in 9th place ahead of Sky Parker, who rounds out the top 10. A superb performance there, and the top 8 for the final later on. Provisionally, of course, is George Nassar on pole position after his 100 intermediate classification points. Head on from Matsui, Shilkunis, Rafalek, Lambert, Flusha, and Motlaka. They are the top 8 for that final later on. But there is your results of the race you've just watched on your screen. We've gone over the top 10. Charlotte Page finishing in 11th place ahead of Isaac Say. His first performance in the senior category, a very strong result there, stepping up from the juniors. Maximum Rafalek finishing in 13th ahead of Kozlova. Then it's Latama in 15th. Then it's Jean Caras finishing in 16th place ahead of Adam Sador. Jabal Sabar from Alessandro Biggie. Louis Hartmann finishing in 20th place, a much stronger performance this time around after his DNF earlier on today. Sebastian Corpeng and Rian Caruz finishing in 22nd place. Casper Bonda, Yana Kapoor and Prix Davino round out the 25 finishers in that race. The retirements, Gianna Pascal, Cole Hewitson, Philippe Caras and Anastasia Gerasis, unfortunately all retiring from that race. And there, Philippe Caras on your screen with his car. Let's have a look at the start of that race, and again, Sara Matsui, brilliant getaway, holding on to the race lead for that first lap. There was the drama behind, and that was Cole Hewitson getting all tangled up and sideways in that mid-pack. It's so easily done. Of course, when you've got 3-4 drivers wide going into an apex at the first corner, there's going to be contact, just not as much as I think they wanted on that one. There was a change for the lead. George Nassar getting up into P1 past Sara Matsui at the start of that race. There was Cole Hewitson. Too much damage on board his wagon. Had to retire. He was out and going no further, and you can clearly see so frustrated. There, though, the second change of the lead. That was Charles Lambert down the inside. He would fight alongside George Nassar, but Nassar would just squeeze his way back through on lap number 3. There, the huge moment from Luna Flusha out of turn 14. Amazing kart control, and she was so lucky to just keep it out of the barriers there and stay in this race. Still a good result for Flusha, though, the championship leader finishing it in P5 as the rest of the battles just happened thick and fast around him. Back to the inside, Marcus Shilkunis recovering in that race back to second place. Had to work hard for that position, though, but the checkered flag would go to George Nassar. He qualified third. He starts that final P1 after 2 qualifying heat wins out of 2. Well, that's the heats done for today. There is going to be a short break now before the finals, starting at 3 o'clock local time here in the United Arab Emirates. It will be the juniors, minis, and then seniors at around an hour's time. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. We'll see you in a few moments' time for the first day of round 5 for the Champions of the Future Academy program.